Hello, welcome back to this YouTube channel. My name is Godwin, as you probably already know. So today we shall be talking about sampling design, and then we'll be looking at bias in statistics as well. So what's the sampling design? Sampling design is basically the process of obtaining a sample, right? So sampling design is a method used in selecting a sample. We already spoke about the sample is in our previous lesson. So what are the process by which a researcher is able or might be able to get a sample that he or she is going to use for a particular research work or an experiment? Now, there are two broad categories of sample designs. So we have the probability sampling, and then we have non-probability sampling. So probability sampling, just looking at the sampling that is based on chance, right? Probability sampling is a sampling that is based on chance. That is, the respondents or the sample participants are going to be selected based on probability or based on chance. Are we getting that? So, an example, we have types of probability sampling, design. So you have the simple random sampling. You can get your sample using a simple random sampling method. You can get your in your sample using a systematic sampling method, stratified, cluster, multi-stage random sampling methods, and so on and so forth. Now, under the non-probability sampling methods, you can make use of the convenience sampling method to get your sample. You can use the purposive sampling method. You can use the judgment sampling method. There's a quota sampling method, and then snowball network sampling method, and so on and so forth. So I'm basically going to talk about I think two here and two over there. So the simple random sampling, how does it work? Now let's say that we are interested in knowing the most popular presidential candidate in a given election, and then we want to sample the opinions of 60 persons, like 60 people, to know if okay, so person is the most popular candidate, or so person, or this other person. So, and then we know the population. That's something about the simple random sampling stuff. Like, the population, all the people that you can get the information from, all the people that can be your respondents in that particular research, or all the people that you can interview or ask questions on one way or the other. So you just need about 60 of them, 60 opinions, right? And then, okay, you get you have a list of 300 people, and then you assign numbers. You may decide to assign numbers to them from the first name. You can give them number one, number two, then up to like number 300. I only need 60 people here, so you can do something like a raffle draw, right? And then just do a raffle draw. Any paper that comes out, you take it to your opponent. Okay, number four, then number four. That's the first person. Then you do it again, and then you have number 17. Okay, that becomes your second, respondents for that particular research. Then you on and on like that until you're able to get to the 60th person, and that's it. That's how it works. Or let's say you could just have their names on a piece of paper, put them in a bowl, shuffle the bowl, you understand? Pick one. Okay. Number 64. Okay, look at the name. Oh, Alaji Usman Taufik. Okay, fine. So that'll be your first respondent. Then you shake the whole board again, on and on until you're able to get 60 names. And those 60 people are those that you are going to, that are going to be the respondents in your, they are going to form the sample anyway of your research work. So it doesn't matter if at the end of the day, the out of the 60 people, you have 40 of them being Hausa, and then you have 15 of them being Igbo, and then 5 of them being Yoruba. Or let's say you have 20 of them being Hausa, 20 of them being Igbo, 20 of them being Yoruba. It doesn't matter, right? So we kind of use simple random sampling. Many researcher does not really care, who and who forms the components of his study, of his research, or of his sample, okay, or of a sample. Do you understand? So that's how that one kind of works. Now the next I want to explain is the stratified random sampling. So here a researcher is not just there's a randomization that also comes with it, because it is a combination of two things. So there is a simple random sampling aspect of the sample, and then there is something else. There's a kind of an arrangement kind of a thing. So here what this all the researcher does is, okay, I have 300 parties. I have three possible participants, and I need 60 of them. So the issue is that I actually need 20 Yoruba, people, and then I need 20 Igbo people, and then I need 20 Hausa people. So what does it do? It divides 300 into three. So it kind of has it has 100 of Yoruba people, then 100 of Igbo, 100 of the Hausa people. So out of this 100, it now does what it did for the simple random sampling. So for the first 100, per ethnic group, so it numbers every one of them 1 to 100, 1 to 100, 1 to 100. Because I didn't even say something about simple random sampling. Every respondent has, an equal chance, of being a part of the sample. Of course, you must have gone through probability before this particular video. So when we say equal chance, like a die, all right, every number on a die has a 1/6 chance of happening. So the same thing for simple random sampling. Every respondent has, equal chance of being selected as part of the sample, right? So after the categorization has been done under stratified sampling, right? So I do 100 of Igbos, 100 of Yorubas, 100 of Hausas. So all of those people are called strata. So I have three strata, right? Or three ethnic group strata, like that, something like that. So, and after getting that, okay, now I need just 60. So I'm interested in, okay, 20, 20, 20. So I now, I assign a random number. I assign numbers to the 100 names, okay, of each ethnic group. And then I now do randomization that I did under my simple random sample to get 20 Yoruba people out of 100 Yoruba people, 20 Igbo men or Igbo people out of 100, and then I get 20 Hausa people out of 100 Hausa people. So here, the difference is that I care about equal representation, for example, right? So the first one, when I do the simple random sampling, I don't care whether there's equal representation of the three ethnic groups or not. Okay, whether after I do my randomization, I get 60 Igbos all through, or 60 Yorubas all through, or 60 Hausas all through. Yeah, I care. I want equal representation, and I want to get the opinions, because of course the president is meant to rule over every aspect of the country. I'm using Nigeria for example, so like it kind of makes sense for me to consider the opinions of the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria, right? So let me just look at, okay, who is popular in the north, for example. Let me student Hausa so I kind of know that. Then who is popular in the southeast, south side, and all of that. Let me use the Igbos, right, to get the opinion of the presidential candidate that is popular in that area. Then who is popular in the southwest, right? So you understand? So like that's how it works. So here it's more of it's the probability part of it, the chance part of it, the randomness that comes with it. Okay, I've explained that part. Now for non-probability sampling, so here there is it's not a sample that's obtained by chance. No, the researcher has something in mind and he goes for it. Okay, the first one that we have is convenience sampling. So the researcher is trying to do something, but then okay, who are going to be my respondent? I need 50 people to be my respondent, and then he looks out of his window. Okay, I have about 50 people gathering somewhere. That's convenient because it's so close to where he or she lives or where he or she's carrying out the research. So he just goes out there, interviews those 50 people, and then continues his research work. So it's not like he has to like go far, or he does that his own convenience. That kind of a thing. So that's what convenience sampling is about. Just look for try to create a sample at your own convenience, or from you. I don't. I think it should be at your own convenience now. Okay, just do something conveniently. There's no point traveling different states to go and get a particular sample there about. See which one is close to me. Okay, come. After this set of questions, I'm moving. Okay, then purposive sampling. So let's say we are trying to like we are trying to like see if a particular product is popular. Okay, if people are really buying it. So let's say there's a new product in town. Let's say maybe Coke Milo, for example. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe a drink, Coke Milo. Okay, so instead of a researcher to just go into what do you call it now, just go out into the society and then begin to like pick randomly, select people randomly, and then ask them if they know about a particular product. He purposefully goes to the buyers of that product, right? Purposefully goes to the buyer of that product and begins to question them, because of course, what are you going to be expecting when because it's purposive, it's purposeful, and it's not as if I'm just randomizing and all of that. I just go and meet a particular just go and meet the people that I know that likely know about this product already and then sample their opinions. Okay, so there might be an issue with that. It might not be representative of the entire population if that is what you are trying to do. Yeah, but sometimes it is just like that. Okay, you are trying to conduct a research on HIV patients and maybe some of their experiences. So why should I just go on, I just do it, why should this just be random, and then some of my respondents are not people that have HIV? Do you understand? So, like, I just want to talk about people that have HIV. So, like, I'm purposeful. So I just try to like look for HIV, patient, and just purposefully go and meet those people and then let them answer, whatever interview questions that I have for them. Then and so on and so forth. So we have judgment, quota, snowball, etc. So after saying that, so we have bias in statistics. Bias in statistics. So like, what does this mean? What does this mean? So bias is a phenomenon that does not allow the outcome of a research to be representative of the population. Okay, bias is a phenomenon that does not allow the outcome of a research to be representative of a population. So there are several types of bias basically. Okay, but then we'll be looking at three of them. So we have selection bias. So selection bias occurs when a researcher chooses a wrong set of respondents, okay, for a research exercise. Okay, you are trying to bring up a sample, right, and then you just pick wrong set of people, wrong set of respondents, in your sample, and then at the end of the day, they end up not having the kind of characteristic that the population has. Okay, and that affects your outcome. Okay, so let's say for example, I'm trying to like look at maybe pollution, okay, in a particular city, okay, or let me say in Lagos State for example, and then I just go to a particular community, and then ask them questions and all of that, and then that's all. So from there, I begin to make a generalization of Lagos entirely. So of course, he may have gone to a clean environment, and then they are what they are saying about population may be so different from what an average Lagosian knows, or from the average pollution experience of a Lagosian. And then there is a likelihood that you may have gone to a very dirty place, and then the kind of responses you are going to get from your respondents in those areas uh, may not be representative of the population as well. Okay, so it is just selection bias is the um, disparity between a research outcome and you know the true what the true research outcome is meant to be, based on the selection of wrong sample, right? Selection of wrong sample. And of course, in your sample you'll be having respondents, so when you go on and select respondents, whose characteristics are not that reflective of what the overall population characteristic is. Okay, and I think I don't know. I think I have some things on the okay. Let me see. Under selection bias. So this is the distortion in research outcomes due to the non-random selection of a survey participants who are not representative of the population. So, e.g., in evaluating the spending habits of college students. Okay, this is another one. In evaluating the spending habits of college students, I then go on to consider my friends. Okay, so just my friends, and I may be a very rich person, and of course I would like to have rich friends around, right? So I just go to my friends and ask them questions, and then I continue with my research work. So of course you have people along different social strata, okay, along different income. You have people along different income distribution in a particular university, of course. But then I'm a rich person, and then my friends are rich people. So I don't want to really bother myself. So I just go to them, and then we get to sample their opinions. Of course, I'll be getting something that would likely not be reflective of of the average, university students, spending habits. Okay, all right. So, okay, let me go over this again. This is the distortion in research outcomes due to the non-random selection of a survey participants who are not representative of the population. For example, in evaluating the spending habits of college students, if you go on selecting your rich friends as a respondent, your research outcome will likely be inaccurate. So anything that is talking about selection bias is just looking at picking a wrong sample, right? That's just it. Picking a wrong sample, right? An inaccurate sample, and then you don't get the result that you're supposed to get. Now after that, so let's say you've even been able to select the right sample, and then you now maybe you send out questionnaires to them, you want them to answer and this one and that one. So there could be two other biases that could is it biases now or bias that could also ensue from that. So the first one is response bias, right? So here, you were able to like come in contact with your respondents, and then you want to sample their opinions for your research work, and they end up not giving you accurate. No, they end up not telling the truth. No, that's actually the point. I don't know why everything I've been reading has been euphemistic. That okay, your respondents end up giving you inaccurate, responses. What's inaccurate response? You are telling a lie, like and there could be different reasons for that. Okay, the questions. Okay, let's if it's a questionnaire, for example, using to carry out to sample their opinions, right? The questions may not be clear, okay, and then is it that no, not that no, don't let me say the questions may not be clear. I think no, it's not even a matter of I think now. So yeah, people may not be comfortable with the questions that you're asking them. Okay, that's one. Then number two, people may want to try to respond to you um out of lack of interest. They're not really interested in what you're trying to like in their opinion that you're trying to get. But they just want to like just get just have you given somebody a question sometime and then the person was just like bring it, and bam, continues to feel something and gives you back, and then moves. So the person didn't even really read the questions that he or she was meant to answer accurately. So just at least just know that I've done it, and then if return it. Something like this happens very well in universities. So where people kind of answer your questionnaires, okay, just out of pity, okay, they see you have put like 400 questionnaires, and they're like, oh my god, oh sorry, bring it, and then they just they may not even really be the people that are supposed to like answer your question, but like they just want you to finish on time, right? So a form of a pity, answering out of pity. Okay, so you have that, and sometimes, like I said, the questions may not be comfortable, okay, for them to answer. Okay, when you begin to ask people questions about their incomes, people are not very um, usually people are not comfortable about talking about their incomes, especially when they have to include their names, right? So you realize that if you do something anonymously and then you do something with recognized names that people should include their names, the result will likely be different. People are more likely to say the truth when they know that they are being anonymous, right? But then when they have to include their names, and oh wow, ah, even when I was in school, then by the time you try to like ask me questions about my income, and nah, I'm not so comfortable, about it. So people may end up just overestimating their worth or underestimating based on whatever is happening, or not just really telling the truth, right? So and sometimes it could be okay. Let me go into the different forms of response bias now. So you have acquiescence bias. So here I I if you ask me polar questions like yes or no questions, so I'll just like yes. I'm not even reading the questions. Everything yes. Do you smoke? Yes. Do you drink? Yes. Do you not smoke? Yes. Do you not drink? Yes. So on and on like that. So yes. Or no. On and on like that. So that's something that comes under acquiescence bias. Then you could have some out of social, what is it even called now? Desirability bias. So here I want to conform. Okay, I just want to confirm. That's the point, right? So you ask me questions, a survey or whatever, and I just like imagine that you are in a church and then the fellow or maybe as a fellowship, and then they are trying to create a program for to rescue youth from the power of lust. LUST now from the power of lust, and then they want to before they start the program, they want to know if the program is really necessary, and then they begin to pass questionnaires, or they begin to conduct interviews, asking youth questions, and then they ask you How often do you think about sex on a daily basis? Do you think you are likely going to tell the truth? Okay, so if you were, thinking about it every day, would you want to say every day? Oh, you may be somebody that everybody's looking at. Okay, this is the most spiritual person in this fellowship. So how are you going to say it every day? So you'd be like, okay, once in 14 years. All right. So why? Because you're trying to conform. Okay, you're trying to conform. So wow, they should not know my secret. So, like in the front of the whole wide world, so I should just come and say. So what are people going to say when they hear that I am, into something like this, And just because we want to conform, right? You might also be in a place where maybe you have people beyond your social um, strata around. Maybe you are in the midst of high income people, or let's say you are somebody from a low income family, and then you get into a gathering of high income people, and then these guys, everybody start talking about their travel. Okay, and then maybe all of you are being asked about your travel experiences. Where have you been to? Where have you not been to? You've never stepped foot out of your state, for example. Then you hear what other people are saying. Okay, they've been to this country, they've been to that country, they've been to this country, that country. You're like, okay. I've been to Canada, I've been to US, and if you happen to be an avid reader, so like you've not even been at those places, but then you can kind of give a good description of some of the things that are there just because you've been reading, you've been doing a lot of reading and all of that. So just because of that pressure, you're also trying to conform so that they won't think that you're a local person and all of that. All right. Then another form of response bias could also be what do you call it now? A courtesy bias. Courtesy. So you're trying to pay courtesy to who you're trying to give courtesy to who is asking you questions about to a researcher. Okay, yeah, to a researcher. So let me give you an instance. So your mom, right, or your parent is trying to like carry out a research on um, parenting, maybe children's satisfaction of their parenting, of their parents' parenting style, if there's anything like that. Children's satisfaction of their parents' parenting style. And then she happens to ask you, this is your mom thinks she's been doing the best for you, and then you happen to be the child that she kind of likes, like it's obvious she knows that if anyone were to disappoint her in life, you're not going to disappoint her. And then she asks you, okay, to rate maybe part of the questions to be asked to rate our parenting style. Okay, your satisfaction about the parenting style on a scale of 1 to 5. Normally, your mom would expect a five for five, like excellent. And then in your mind, you're not that satisfied. You know your mom is not really doing the best based on your objective, analysis. But you can't say that. So out of respect, just tell her, "Oh, excellent! Oh, superb!" and all of that. So that is also a form of response bias. So you are doing it out of courtesy. You are doing it out of respect. Okay, but then you know what is real, right? And the issue with all of these responses is that if they become significant, or why we even call them bias, is because they become significant and then they distort the results. You understand? Because people did not say what they were supposed to say, so it just distorts the results of the research, and then the research the purpose of conducting the research becomes defeated. Okay, so we should just try. I don't even know what to say. Maybe we should try to reduce our response bias. When we are being contacted, for a research as a respondent to a research or something. So because I don't know, because there are some questions that I may not also be comfortable with, and uh, I may not even respond at all. Which brings us. I don't have to lie, right? I don't have to. I know I don't have to lie. Okay. So which now brings us to the third, what do you call it now? The third form of bias now. So I've covered selection bias, I've covered response bias, I've told you response bias could be as a form of acquiescence. Okay, so where you just yes, 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 no, 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 no. Just keep filling the questionnaire. So every question they ask you, yes, do you know this? Yes, do you not know him? Yes, do you know her? Yes, do you not know her? Yes, or no, 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 like that. And then I've also explained that you could be your selection what am I even saying now? As your response bias could be from acquiescence, your response bias could be a form of courtesy, could be due to courtesy, and then it could also be due to social desirability. You don't want to see something that everybody does. Okay, okay, and I've also spoken about selection bias. So selection bias, um, response bias, and um, three other sources of response bias. Kind of, I've spoken about that. Then the last one is the no response bias. All right. So no response bias occurs when no, it's the distortion. Okay, no response bias is the distortion in research outcome from its true outcome because the key respondents, did not respond to the what do you call it now, to the survey, right? Did not answer questions, on your survey. It's either they didn't answer some questions on your survey and they are significant in number that didn't answer it, or did not even answer your survey at all. They may not have got the survey. Probably you sent the survey at imagine, sending survey to working class people, people that are busy at their place of work during the day, like maybe on a Monday morning. And of course, what are you expecting? Like, people are rushing to work, so they're not really going to respond to you. So you can have a no response bias from that, from people not being able to answer your questions because they just couldn't get them, or they couldn't have attended to them at the time you were requiring them to do that. Or sometimes it might just be because they're very comfortable in answering your questions as well. Okay, so like for example, you are looking at um what I said earlier, how often do you think about sex every day? Damn it. I mean, like, I'm likely going to, I'm likely going to just keep it. I'm serious. I'm not going to skip it because I wouldn't know, especially when it is not anonymous. You know me. You know that okay, this is for me. I'm the one that's supposed to like answer this. But it could be an interview, face to face interview. Like, guy, I'll just forget about that. How many girlfriends have you had? If I say zero, and then you look at my age and you're like, oh wow, that's weird. Like, that's unbelievable. Okay, I may be like, I won't see anything. If I say I've had like seven, okay, if I say I'm like, okay, I'm actually an apprentice of Solomon, King Solomon. Wow. So you must be promiscuous. I'm like, oh, yes. Never mind. I'm not. I prefer not to answer the question. So, and if you have significant people doing that, that's the issue. Like I said earlier, that's often the issue. Significant number of people not saying the truth, or not giving accurate results, not giving accurate responses to questions, that falls under response bias. And this time around, under no response bias, you have significant number of people not answering questions that you want them to answer, either skipping some of them or not answering any of them at all, right? So those are types of biases that may come up. I don't think there's any like biases, so please forgive me if it is wrong. Those are different types of bias, right? That you may have that would distort your result. So the issue now is how can you um, kind of limit what do you call it now, limit bias of any kind in a research, so that we are going to be having a we are going to be having a research outcome that is representative of the population. Okay, I think first and foremost, like, don't let your questions be straightforward. That's number one. Like, so don't make people start to think like, what does this mean? Sometimes there may be no response back because people don't even understand what you're trying to ask. And they just leave it like, I don't understand this, so let me just move and then go and answer something else. Like, make your questions straightforward, make them simple. Then don't make it if you're using a questionnaire, for example, like, don't make it lengthy. Like, people get tired. You understand? So when if you give me a questionnaire and I'm like, one, two, three, four. Undergraduate project. One, two, four. Then front and back. I have to, guy. Like, at some point, I will not even read anything. Just three, three, two, two. If you have a scale, one, five, five. I've been picking five a lot, so I'll just come back. Two, one, two. That may not really be good for you if a lot of people are doing that. So like, try to minimize, the questions, that you are asking your respondent. Make your questions as easy as possible, as easy to understand as possible. Then make your respondents comfortable. Okay, make them comfortable. Like, if it were to be an interview stuff, like, make them comfortable that okay, whatever it is that they share is confidential, right? In case they're not willing to like share, to divulge some personal things. Okay, like it's confidential. Like I think on questionnaires, for example, I think it used to be there, and I think they don't used to require names. But I don't know, some may require names, right? Some may require names. But I think then it's good. Like, I think it's require names, but they may require your department, your level, and this one and that. So and then just make people comfortable, and then again, if you are trying to if you're trying to like limit what do you call it now, no response, bias, for example, like understand your respondents. So don't try, if your respondents are aged people, if the research you're trying to carry out is on the ages, something about them, understand them. Like I don't think they are the type that you are going to be using WhatsApp, for example, or maybe you are going to be trying to be using email to reach out to. So I think for them it's more of like a face-to-face interaction. Like just understand your respondent and understand the best way to get information from them that we use for research, work on and on, like like that. So with that, I think okay, I think we're done. So your assignment should then be to look for the disadvantages of simple random sampling and stratified random sampling. Like I think disadvantages, and then that should be like the main assignment. Then here you can look for the disadvantages. Like okay, two disadvantages of this, two disadvantages of this, two disadvantages of this, and then two disadvantages of this. So I spoke about sampling. I spoke about stratified. I spoke about simple random sampling. So two disadvantages. I spoke about stratified. Two disadvantages of stratified random sampling and stratified sampling rather. There are two disadvantages of convenience sampling, two disadvantages of purposive sampling. So I think that should be the assignment. That's okay. But I implore you to study more. And others, you might also study more on them to know how they work or what they are. And it's also very good for you to understand the advantages of each of them, and so on and so forth. So, like, thank you very much. And now next class we'll be looking at I think no, we have scale of measurement. Okay, scale of measurement. I think that should have been from the previous lesson, but it's okay. We'll see what we can do about that. Okay. And so in our next class, we'll be looking at the measure of central tendency, and from there we'll move to measure of dispersion. So thank you very much for attending this class. See you there. Bye.